everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be doing the anti TBR tag, so let's just get into it. Yeah, so this tag video is basically what it sounds like. It is all of the books that I don't want to read. I'll link the creator down in the description below. I actually thought this tag had been around for a while, but I think it's only been around for a couple of months. As is the case with any kind of video that I feel like you put your controversial opinions out there, respect my opinion. If I mention a book or author that you really love, it's my opinion. It has nothing to do with you, and so just respect my opinion. I shall respect yours. I will be so happy for you if you love one of these books that I mentioned. So the first question is a popular book that everyone loves but you have no interest in reading. And for this, I don't know if this is necessarily like a book that everyone loves, but it at least is super popular, and that is Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This is the Edward's POV of Twilight, and I have heard people tell me that it is wonderful and like chef's kiss and that I definitely need to read it. I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna happen. Mostly just because the book is like super long. Like I had no idea that it was going to be like that big of a chunky book. And also I just like, I love Twilight. I recently rewatched all of the movies with my boyfriend. You know, I think I've gotten my like taste of Twilight just from the movie rewatch, and I don't really need to read Midnight Sun. Like I said, I know that people have said that it's great and that it includes a lot of cool information. You know, I like to say never. Maybe I'll pick it up eventually, but at least I won't pick it up now. Next is a classic book or author that you have no interest in reading. And actually this for me, I feel like most people on BookTube hate classics, or at least most people that I've seen do this tag like say, oh my god, I don't want to read any classics. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm an English major and I've been reading classics for forever, and I really do love classics even though like they're not perfect and there's a bunch of things wrong with them. I do think that you can learn a lot from them. And so I'm pretty down to read the majority of the classics that exist eventually, and I don't want to say never. But one book that did come to mind was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and this is because I've seen the movie and I know the story, and that book is such a chunker that I feel like I have no need to read the book, at least in this time of my life. I'm sure the book has its own merits to it, and I know that, like I said, lots of people probably enjoy it. I really loved the movie adaptation, and I think that my heart is fulfilled with that story as of now, so I'm going to say Little Women for this. Also, like War and Peace, probably won't read that unless like I'm forced to. Those are just two that came off the top of my head. Next we have an author whose books you have no interest in reading, and this might hurt some people's feelings. And I don't know if this counts because I have read some books by this author, but I don't want to read anymore, and that is Maggie Stiefvater, who is the author of the Raven Boys series. I had read the Raven Boys back, you know, when it was popular, and I don't like this series. I really don't. I just don't vibe with it. I don't get it. I know that lots of people love this series, and go you, but I personally just don't get it. And I know that Maggie Stiefvater has written a ton of other books, and I have no interest in those. So I don't know if this is kind of a cheat answer because I have read some of her books before, but I'm just gonna go with it. Who cares? I know that Maggie Stiefvater is a beloved author, especially here on BookTube, so I am so sorry. I just don't really have any interest in her books after reading this one, and also the concepts of her other books don't like interest me too much. Please don't unsubscribe. And then kind of like a second part of this question is a problematic author that you don't really have an interest in. And for this, again, kind of a cheat answer because I have read, I think, most of this author's books like back when I was an ignorant little person, and that is Rainbow Rowell. Rainbow Rowell has recently, not recently, but it's recently own voices reviewers have been calling attention to her problematic portrayal of Koreans and Asians in Eleanor and Park, which admittedly, I had, you know, like I said, back in like 2015, 2016, I thought was an amazing book, and I just didn't see that it really had some racist undertones and like stereotypes going on within that book towards Koreans and Asians. Again, you could look up some Unvoices reviewers on Goodreads, I'm sure, and that will explain the situation further. But yeah, after that, in Rainbow Rowell's like refusal to say anything about it and just like deleting people's comments is what really makes it upsetting to me. Like, you don't just ignore like thousands of people that are telling you you did something wrong. You can't just ignore that and like get away with it, you know? So yeah, I think I'm just not going to read anything else by her, and also her books don't really appeal to me too much. But yeah, Rainbow Rowell for that one. And next up we have an author who you have read a few books of and decided that they weren't for you. And again, this is why I thought the Maggie Stiefvater question might have been a little bit of a cheat answer, but who cares? This one is an author that I read a bunch of their books, found out that I just don't vibe with them, and that is Christina Lauren. I know. I just recently got into adult romance in 2020, and for a time I thought that Christina Lauren books were the only romance books that existed, because I was just like, you know, one of those ignorant people that didn't want to pick up, you know, books that had abs on the cover, and that has quickly changed, and I have learned that their books are definitely not for me. I did enjoy this one by them. It is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, and I also enjoyed Love and Other Words by them, but all of their other books I do not like, and I just don't think that their romances are my style. The concepts are cool, but the execution I just don't really like, and I feel like there are so many other romance authors out there that I want to devote my time to, but at least for now I think I'm going to try not to read any of their books anymore. I might be interested in their first series. It's like the Beautiful Boss trilogy or series or whatever it is, because people have said that that one is really good. Yeah, as of right now, I'm not going to make an effort to reach for Christina Lauren books, if that makes sense. Next is a genre that you have no interest in reading, or a genre that you can't really get into, and for this, I'm going to go with the obvious answer, and that is horror. I don't like horror books, will never like horror books. I'm sorry. Scaredy cat, cannot do it. Another answer that I could say for this, which is less of like a hard no, and that is sci-fi. Personally, sci-fi just doesn't really interest me. I've tried to read sci-fi in the past, and I have really enjoyed some sci-fi, but like before I read the book, the concepts don't really like wow me, and so you've probably noticed that I don't read a ton of sci-fi, but I am willing to try certain sci-fis, but just not all sci-fi, if that makes sense. The next question is a book that you bought but you think that you will never read, and I do have a few of those because my reading tastes I feel like have changed over the past couple years, and some books just really do not appeal to me. I should probably unhaul this book, but I think the cover is pretty, so we're not going to do that just yet. And for this one I'm going to go with Save the Date by Morgan Matson. This, again, just such a cute concept going on here, but I've heard that this has to do with this teenage girl who has to end up being like a wedding planner or something like that, and like everything goes wrong, which would be fine. Maybe I would be interested in that, but I've heard that the main character is super immature and it's very unrealistic, and the story is just not a good one. It just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't seem like it will be for me. I definitely probably won't be reading this one probably ever. Next is a series that you have no interest in reading, and or a series that you started and you DNF. I don't even want to get it off my shelves. For this one, I'm going to go with the Last Magician series by Lisa Maxwell. I read this first book early this year, and it's one of my least favorite books of the year. I don't know whether I just read it at the wrong time or what, because I know that lots of people that I follow and trust on BookTube really love this series. I personally just really couldn't get into it. I didn't think that it was anything amazing, and I definitely will not be continuing on with the series, and I probably should have DNF'd this book to begin with. Yeah, this one just definitely was not one for me. And the last question is a new release that you have no interest in reading, and this is a semi-new release that came out early this year, and that has to go with The Ballad or A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the Hunger Games prequel thing that follows President Snow. I'm sure everyone knows this by now. I can't describe how uninterested I am in this book. Like, from the get-go, from the time that Suzanne Collins even announced that there was going to be a prequel, I have no interest. For me, I really don't like when authors add on to a series that has been completed for many, many years. Like, I just know for a fact it's not going to be as good. I'm sure there are instances where that isn't the case, but I just feel like for me, I don't want to invest in it. Like, I just don't think it's going to be something that I will enjoy, because the Hunger Games I loved, but that is kind of over there in the past in this nice little package. And so then to add on to it, I've never had interest, and especially when the reviews started coming in to where they said that it really wasn't that good, my interest just like continued to go like below zero to the negative realm. Except of this, just no appeal at all. So there you have it. That was the Anti TBR tag. I hope that some of you guys are still here and that I haven't offended you too much. Let me know what some of your unpopular opinions or books that you don't want to read are down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I hope everyone is staying safe and staying healthy. The world is a kind of scary place right now, so I hope everyone is doing okay. And I will see you later in another video very soon. Bye!